The other thing that I was wondering while watching this movie, because with Netflix I've seen it so much, is like I'm thinking, is Netflix doing anything different the way they develop their movies that makes... I feel like there's a few steps missing in Netflix, like quality control, that kind of like makes it that a lot of the movies that they produce are missing like a refinement step.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? I think like Andrew Smythe of all people,
Andrew
like said this, and I think he's like pretty on the money with it. He said like, Netflix just chucks shit at the wall to see what sticks, and like some of it's garbage.
Yeah.
Like they just throw it all, and like some of it's good and some of it's shit. But like, what a way to let it there's nothing really particularly bad about that. Like sometimes you get a gem, and sometimes you get full of house.
But like the thing is that like I've yet to see a movie where I'm like, yes, that's job well done, Netflix. Like, no, maybe they do. Like, I can imagine that maybe they don't do audience screenings, like
Right.
before, like, or test screenings too. Because I feel like if you would have screened a movie like The Irishman, I feel test screenings must have picked up on the fact that there's just a lot of information just going straight over your head. And I'm not sure. Maybe they are doing test screenings, but I feel there's definitely a few steps missing in Netflix's stuff where it's just like relatively easy fixable things, and maybe it just shows that we need audience test screenings and that directors need a little bit of that guidance to focus them on the right area.
Maybe. I mean, I would say all these other movies are going too far the other way, where it feels like they're showing so much stuff in test screenings and so much that's getting changed that it's getting really washed away. That vision of a movie is getting washed away before it gets out. Because some dude in a test screening is like, I think his shoes are too blue, or some shit like that.
But like test screenings have been around for like decades, like way before things went to shit, basically.
Yeah.
Or like when movies just became too generic. Like I feel generic movies more come from producer driven movies where
Right.
there's just like a lot of producers involved about like, what if we do this? What if we do that? Like we need we need a 12-legged spider in there, and also a Sandman, and
also we can't do this because it will alienate these viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're our core fans, or they're spending the most money.
Yeah.
People age this group to this group, and they want to see this.
Yeah, no, I strongly believe in having a singular vision from a filmmaker, often the director. I'm still very much for that, but I'm starting to think that like test screenings or some sort of screenings are very helpful to kind of refocus the filmmaker. I'm not sure if Netflix is doing it or not, but what it feels like it is missing to me, Netflix films, is that the extra layer or two, or extra checkpoints or two, to kind of say like, hey, your movie is just a little bit confusing, or it's a little bit too long, or what's happening here or there. Like I think maybe that's what it needs. I'm not sure, but it feels like TV shows Netflix is doing a little bit better. But like I have yet to see a really successful movie. Like they've done some decent movies, some watchable movies, but they've not done anything close to raving about.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I can't label one off the top of my head. I'm not sure if there's... Yeah, maybe I've seen one and I can't think of it, but if I can't think of it, it can't be like... kind of blow me out of the water. So, yeah.
Yeah, no,
right.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely think that, but sometimes that's the case in movies that aren't getting through Netflix. Like, I felt the same way about, like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like Tarantino.
But I feel like he probably did not screen that one.
Yeah, and Hateful Eight, actually. I feel like
you could. I'm not sure, but like I can also see that like Quentin Tarantino will also skip a few steps.
Yeah.
Like a few of those quality control steps, which are can either be a blessing or a curse as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes there just needs to be somebody that'd be like, hey, you know what? Like, maybe if we trim this, like...
Yeah, it's like, hey, listen, I'm a 33-year-old not from America. I'm just confused about what's going on here, or I'm confused about the age, or I'm confused about, like, there's not a clear difference between this time period and the time jump that we're making, And I think if enough people would say that, like, for the filmmaker, obviously it's going to be obvious because he's been writing the script, he's been making the movie, he knows it inside out, every minute, every second. But like sometimes it's just good to have a bunch of people say like, I'm confused at this point, and he can make a few like decisions that he thinks is right, that still keeps his vision alive, but makes it more obvious for everyone. And I feel like definitely Netflix stuff kind of misses that.
For sure.